Ben Askren versus Jordan Burroughs. It's happening at Beat the Streets, upcoming in May. This is going to be the match to watch, the match of the year. Now, before I get into, Jordan Burroughs versus Askren, everybody and their mother was going after Ben Askren. So first, when Bo Nickel, right after he won the national championships this past year, he challenged Ben Askren just to a wrestling match, not at Beat the Streets or anything. He just said, he added Askren on Twitter. He said, "Hey, Ben, let's wrestle." And this picked up a lot of response from a lot of news outlets that wanted to see this match happen. So there's nothing really that came out of that. But then what happened is Dylan Dennis, who is an MMA Bellator fighter, he challenged Ben Askren on Twitter, and he said, "Hey, Ben, if you don't accept this fight within 24 hours, then I automatically win. You forfeit. I'm a winner, and I beat Askren in a wrestling match." And this kind of brought up a lot of debate in whether this was even warranted. Should he have even challenged Askren to a match? What is Dennis's career, like how well has he even done in wrestling in the past? And from my digging, from my understanding, he qualified for the state tournament, and that's about as far as he got. Then he went into MMA and he makes a living on Bellator, but that was that. And then we had Jordan Burroughs challenge him, who said, "Should Askren and I wrestle?" He put out a Twitter poll. The fans, of course, voted yes. If you voted no, I don't know why you would vote no to not see Burroughs and Askren wrestling. That's going to be a great match. But these two guys are wrestling at the Grapple at the Garden at Madison Square Garden, the Hulu Theater, in May. So this will be happening May 6th. You can watch it live on Flow. Now, what is Beat the Streets? Well, Beat the Streets is a match or a tournament or match that's been going on for many years, where it brings together a lot of guys for these big matches, super matches essentially, and raises money. The wrestling is secondary almost, and the big part is raising money for these kids that may not be able to afford all the wrestling and all the coaches and camps, and puts money back into the kids on the streets, to keep them off of the streets and to get them on the mat and to keep them wrestling. So what are the big things happening this year? Well, after last year's slippery mat fiasco, of course you may remember, with Burroughs versus Frank Chamizo, well, the mats were outside and they just were crazy slippery. But this year it's inside at the Hulu Theater, and Askren and Burroughs will be fighting. Now, these two guys are former NCAA wrestling champions, and they took kind of slight different career paths. Burroughs, of course, went into Olympic wrestling. He has a lot of sponsorships, camps, does really well with that. Askren went into Bellator. He had a nice UFC fight a couple of months ago where he's making some cash. Well, these two are coming back to wrestle each other. Now, if you didn't know, Burroughs is a wrestler from Nebraska and Askren from Missouri. They're both Hodge Trophy winners, which I thought was, pretty darn cool. Now, this is essentially the Funk versus the Blast Double. Who will win this? Let me know in the comments below who you think will win this crazy super match this year. My bet is on Burroughs, and that's only because, Askren's been off the wrestling mat for a couple of years. He hasn't wrestled all that much. And of course, there's wrestling in MMA, but he hasn't been grinding it out on the mat as hard as Burroughs has been. Now, maybe I'm not seeing his training and I'm wrong about that, but that's just my thoughts on that. Please let me know what you think below. But what are the other matches happening at the Grapple at the Garden? Well, after, of course, we have Burroughs and Askren, but then we also have James Green versus Anthony Ashnault. Now, these are both New Jersey natives, and they're coming at it to wrestle each other. Ashnault, of course, is this past year's NCAA champion at 149 pounds, undefeated, Hodge contender. Now, he was the first four-time New Jersey state champion. So he was also undefeated in high school. He was a Big Ten champ this past year, national champ, did really well, and now he's looking to wrestle James Green, who is also a New Jersey guy. He's an All-American, Big Ten champ, and a two-time world medalist. So he's also a New Jersey state champ. So it's it's the matchup of New Jersey versus New Jersey, and we've seen New Jersey growing phenomenally over this past year. They did really well at the Big Ten tournament and at nationals, and I'm excited to see these two guys face off. And there's one other big match that has been announced. You know, there may be others that haven't been announced yet, but one other big match that's been announced for high school commits is Jojo Aragona, who's the #1 kid in the country at his weight class. He is another New Jersey State champ and a Rutgers commit. So this will be great to see a new Rutgers commit coming in here, as well as one leaving Rutgers in Asheville, and seeing what the future holds for the program. Then he is facing off against Adam Buscello, who's #4 in the country, who is a 5-time New York State champion. And he's, you know, this will be a great match to watch. They always, Beat the Streets always has a pretty good high school matchup, and it'll be fun to see how all these guys do. Now, you can watch Beat the Streets live on Flow on May 6th. Make sure that you guys check it out.